So a lot has happened on the past couple of days, ever since Byleth was announced for Smash. It's Twitter has been going kind of rampant. YouTube has gotten rampant. The internet in general has gotten kind of just rampant for mostly the wrong reasons. It's no surprise at this point that people aren't really receptive towards a new Fire Emblem character being part of Smash. So the goal of this video is to just talk about why Byleth is coming to Smash, and why the community is angry about it. And mostly at the end, we'll just talk about our personal opinions. I'm here with Xritsken again. Say hello.
Hello.
But overall, we're just gonna go ahead and get this started. So the way how we're going to frame this this video is just talk about the facts first, and then we'll talk about some speculation that isn't really confirmed, but with our knowledge of how the industry works and how business work in general, we'll go into that as well. And then we'll just also give our personal take on it as well. So let's just get right into it. Why Byleth? So as far as specifically Byleth is concerned,
She seems to have a case of Ike-itis.
Ike-itis?
Yeah, where she's in the game because their game, she's popular and their game did well, so they want to market the game a little bit more.
It's less about him or her. We'll go with her, but it's less about her being popular and more about what she represents. Byleth is the avatar and also the protagonist of Fire Emblem Three Houses, and this is basically the same case as with Corrin and Robin for their respective games. They're both the avatar and the protagonist, which means that fans of those games will reflect themselves with them the most.
Yeah, resonate a little bit better.
Yeah, and that is by far like the most important thing. So, of course, they're going to be the pick to represent their game. But one thing I should also just get out of the way at this point, because with the whole debacle of people, especially on Twitter, saying that Sakurai needs to be fired.
I'm sorry, come again?
Yeah, people on Twitter are saying Sakurai needs to be fired.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so we're just want to say this straight up. This isn't actually Sakurai's decision. Nintendo basically gives them a list of the characters they want in the game. This would also include the third-party stuff, so Joker, Terry, Banjo, and whoever else is on that list is all of the legwork and agreements and deals that Nintendo made themselves, and they provided that to Sakurai. The only thing that Sakurai does is to let Nintendo know if he can do it or not. So this is confirmed in a tweet back before the game was released, back in 2018. Sakurai himself says that every single DLC character that is going to be in this game, or already is in this game right now, is because of Nintendo, not himself.
Yeah, so when you wonder about people like Goku or Master Chief and why they're not in the game, it's not Sakurai's fault.
Yeah, it's all, well, Goku could also be in the Fighter Pass 2 because there's 6 fighters, so he has actually a pretty decent chance, and he is highly requested. But that's all Nintendo, not on Sakurai.
Yeah.
So
let's just back
Sakurai
off.
Fired.
You know, let's just back off from Sakurai a bit here. This guy works himself to the bone for us.
Yeah, he says over and over again that he'll have no sleep over this, and that's not a joke. Actually, it's not a joke. He jokes about it because, well, he kind of has to, but you can secretly feel like the lament of him saying I won't be getting any sleep.
Yeah, just for those who don't know, this will be quick, but the Japanese corporate system is one filled with a lot of stress and expectance to do excellence, and Sakurai is a pure example of that.
Yeah, and it's also that in the American gaming industry as well, but that's more of like the fit deadline. So whenever they're behind, they go into crunch time.
Yeah.
Which means they have sleepless nights. So it is a very real thing across the globe, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But to get back on track, now that we know that Nintendo is the ones that make this, we got to ask, why does Nintendo choose Byleth and not anyone else?
Well, that's probably because, first of all, she's a very versatile character in that she can learn practically anything in the game, which, I mean, I guess technically any character can, but for her specifically, she's the main character. She can learn a variety of moves, and more importantly, her game was stupid successful.
Yeah, it was really, really successful. I'm going to have to look up the sales on that really quickly, but as far as I know, the game was a smashing success. And the Wave 2 DLC, I think it's called, the 4th story arc DLC, something like that, is coming out soon.
Yeah.
So even more incentive to get Byleth then, to draw attention to that, because I believe the trailer for the DLC came out before, like a couple of days before the announcement.
Mm-hmm.
That's, Byleth is in Smash, which makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Now, there's also this thing. This kind of goes into like, oh well, it was Sakurai made the choice. Sakurai does have a good affinity for Fire Emblem. He personally likes the series. This, however, only applies to like both Smash 64 and Melee, because in Smash 64, Sakurai did want Marth in the game, but he didn't have time to put him in. So he put it in Melee instead, and then he also included Roy, just for purely marketing purposes.
Yeah, Roy is the first case of Fire Emblem marketing being used in Smash.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, the marketing is actually a very real thing, but honestly, why would that be a surprise? This entire game is marketing for any franchise.
Pretty much.
A big reason why a lot of third-party characters are in is because the owners of that gaming series want to be in Smash for the marketing purposes.
There is a very good reason why people consider it a major honor to be put in Smash.
Yeah, because it gives them more money.
Exactly.
Like a lot of people that only owned like Nintendo consoles never played Persona 5, but now that Joker is in Smash, a lot of people who play Smash got interested in the character and started playing Persona 5 and they loved it, and now they're Persona fans.
Exactly.
I know for a fact MK Leo's this. MK Leo played Persona 5 after Joker was announced that he loved the game. Same thing with Zero.
Also, people who don't know who those guys are, you need to watch more Smash stuff.
Yeah. And as far as Fat's is concerned, that's pretty much it. But one thing that I want to speculate about is one thing people are asking is how come there are so many Fire Emblem characters when they can just have just Marth and I guess Roy. Like they could have just stuck with those two and that'd be it, right?
Well, we're about to drop some knowledge bomb on you.
Well, like I said, the knowledge is basically all gone at this point, but it's just more about speculation on my part. So, Fire Emblem is not a series of like continuous continuity storyline. Like it's not just like this is Fire Emblem 1 and then Fire Emblem 2 the sequel, then Fire Emblem 3 the sequel, then Fire Emblem 4 the sequel. They're like Final Fantasy where each game is standalone for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say that like each Fire Emblem game is its own story set in its own world. So Marth is part of the very first Fire Emblem, and no other game for the most part. To some extent, he's part of Awakening, but that's like a super distant sequel.
I mean, he was the main character of the third game.
It's still the same thing. The third game is a remake of the first game.
Was it?
Yeah, the Fire Emblem 3 is a remake of the first game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I guess I'm just getting confused with Fire Emblem new Mystery of the Emblem.
Yeah, that is part of the third game. It's both a remake and it added on a second scenario.
Gotcha. All right. But yeah, generally speaking, what he's saying is that every game is its own representation in a way.
Right. So you have Marth from Fire Emblem 1, you have Roy from Fire Emblem 6, which is its own game. Or more specifically, its own story.
Yep.
So Roy represents Fire Emblem 6. Then you have Ike, who represents Fire Emblem 9 and 10.
More specifically, 10.
No, both 9 and 10. He's the main character in both of those. So Fire Emblem 9 is Path of Radiance, and Fire Emblem 10 is Radiant Dawn. And Radiant Dawn is a direct sequel to Path of Radiance. And Ike is the main character in both of those. And then you have Corrin, who represents Fire Emblem Fates. You have Robin, who represents Fire Emblem Awakening, and also Lucina and Chrom. I don't know why they have 3 characters. That's kind of like an iffy thing, but
well, Chrom's in from pure popularity and want.
Yeah.
Actually, same for Lucina too.
Mm-hmm. And now we have Byleth, who's going to represent 3 houses. Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is because I can tell you for a fact, one of the most hotly requested characters to be put into the game is actually Lindis, who would represent Fire Emblem 7. And that is, for those younger people that don't know, that game is the very first game we got in the West. And the very first character that we see is Lindis. And she is basically the protagonist of that game for at least half the game. And she is very, very popular for that reason, because she also more or less teaches you the game as well. And a lot of people requested for her, but she just got the tag of Assist Trophy instead.
Mm-hmm.
So people were disappointed about that. So you can see why not just having one character to represent the entire series is enough.
Absolutely. Fun fact before we move on, though, if it wasn't for Roy, we probably wouldn't have gotten Fire Emblem in the West. Just saying.
Maybe.
Well, sorry. Let me specify. If it wasn't for the fact they were represented in Smash, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I can tell you for sure, like definitely for sure, that Fire Emblem 7 wouldn't be a Blazing Sword if it wasn't for Roy and Smash. Because Roy came out before Fire Emblem 6 was released in Japan, so that was purely a marketing thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Nintendo didn't think that we would respond so well to the Fire Emblem characters. everyone wants to know more about them.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually made Fire Emblem 7, which is a prequel to Roy's game, just so they can answer some questions regarding Roy.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when Smash first came out, Smash Melee came out, and they saw Marth and Roy, they're like, who are these guys? I've never seen these guys before.
These guys are cool.
They're pretty freaking cool. Yeah, that was a common thing too. But I would honestly say that it is because of Smash that the interest in Fire Emblem picked up in the West.
Well, picked up more like it didn't exist before, and now it exists.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So I won't say that it's the only reason we got Fire Emblem in the West, but I will say that if it wasn't for that, we probably wouldn't have Fire Emblem as quickly as we did.
Yeah, I say eventually we would have gotten Fire Emblem just because, the digital age, and we eventually learned what Fire Emblem was. But Smash definitely made that much faster.
Yes, absolutely. And
I say that's pretty much it for us. I think we covered pretty well on why Byleth is in the game. Like overall, it's really because Nintendo wants her in, but also Sakurai doesn't mind either, because Nintendo has they probably have a pretty big list of characters that they want in, and also a bunch of deals that they made with third-party companies that have the character in.
Mm-hmm.
But Sakurai has to choose the order of when to release them, right?
Yeah.
So the reason why we have Byleth literally right now is because of the DLC, more than likely. The DLC that's coming out.
Absolutely. But I gotta ask you a question.
What's up?
Why is the community so pissed off about this?
So let's get right into that. So we already went over why Marth and Roy got in.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Brawl. So in Brawl, there is only 2 Fire Emblem characters, Marth and Ike. There was no Roy. Roy was omitted because they wanted to get rid of all clone characters.
But on top of that, I believe the fact was they wanted to put Roy in, but they ran out of time, just like Mewtwo, actually.
Yeah, I think that's the case as well, because they also wanted to give Roy a new moveset,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't have time.
Yep.
So that left people pretty sad about that. They wanted their boy in, because Roy's their boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Roy is one of the most popular Fire Emblem characters in Smash, bar none.
Yeah, bar none. Yeah. So they got pretty sad about that. So when Smash 4 came out, they're like, "Can we have Roy back?" He didn't show up in the base game. He came back as DLC though. So when Smash 4 first came out, it was Marth and Ike again, but then they announced Robin and Lucina.
With Chrom as a final Smash.
Yeah, with Chrom as final Smash, which is kind of funny. A lot of people were happy about Robin, because this is pretty much hot off the rails of hot the coattails, of Fire Emblem Awakening.
Within about 2 years, yeah.
Yeah, this game was it exploded.
Mm-hmm.
It's super popular back then. So Robin being in was it's pretty much a shoo-in. There's no way he was not going to be in.
Yeah, but then we saw, literally right after Robin was announced, Lucina was announced, and things did not go so well for that.
Yeah, Lucina was announced in the very same trailer.
Yep.
And this was basically the start of when the community was pretty iffy on the Fire Emblem characters. Which is funny, because Lucina is probably just as popular as Marth is.
Mm-hmm.
At least in Japan.
Unfortunately, the problem with Lucina was that she was literally a Marth clone. Like, there was nothing about her that was different except for the fact she didn't have a tipper.
Yeah, she was basically an Echo Fighter before we decided to call them Echo Fighters. And Lucina is basically easy mode Marth. This is not really a speculative thing or a personal thing. That's just actually how it is.
Yeah.
Lucina is easier to play than Marth because Lucina doesn't have the tipper mechanics.
Yeah. With Marth, you have to worry about spacing. Lucina, not just forward smash all day.
It's not that bad, but but you get the point. The reason why people was so iffy on Lucina was that she literally didn't have her own moveset. There's a little copy pasta of Marth, and that let the sour taste in people's mouths because it's like, what's the point of having, or rather, let me put it this way: why is Lucina getting this quote unquote special treatment when they made it an effort to get rid of clone characters?
Exactly. Remember how we mentioned Roy was removed because he was a clone character? Lucina basically is... no, not even basically. She was a clone character, so... what happened?
Yeah, so this is the strange part, because like in the middle of like revision this, I just literally reminded myself that Lucina actually isn't the sole case of this. We have Dr. Mario.
Oh yeah.
And Dr. Mario does have like a small bit differences, but the normals are still the same, like literally the same as normal Mario. They work very differently, but it's still the same moveset, which is what people were complaining about with Lucina. And then you also have, well, I'm jumping ahead, but in Ultimate, you now have normal Link and Young Link, which have the same moveset for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Now again, they work very differently, but the movesets are still very, very similar. And then Toon Link is more varied, but the specials are still the same. So I don't know if people are complaining about that or not. I know people have gripes about it, but I haven't seen any real complaining as far as like, oh, Toon Link's the same as the other Links. But
yeah, but this complaining about clonage really only sticks to the Fire Emblem characters, because we had Falco back in Melee, who was basically Fox, just a heavy hitter.
A heavier hitter, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Melee is different because that's when clones were first introduced, so I think they gave him a pass. But ever since then, Falco has been like his own character for the most part, besides sharing the specials. Because Falco's normals in Smash 4 and Brawl and Ultimate are very, very different from Fox's overall. I think like the only normal that they share is like down tilt.
That being said, Lucina was only the first problem in Smash 4 that arose. Soon after, I think, like, what was it, the third DLC, I believe, came
I
Corrin.
believe it's third DLC. Corrin was then announced, and Corrin was one of those characters that no one was asking for.
Yeah, Fates did well, but after people actually bought Fates was not great.
It depends on what version you played. A lot of people loved Conquest, but a lot of people really, really disliked Birthright.
Yeah. So really, nobody was asking for
Revelation
Corrin.
Yeah. The first main issue was that one, Corrin wasn't even, not Corrin, but generally Fates was only released in Japan. It wasn't released in the West yet.
Mm-hmm.
But they included Corrin for who knows what reason. I wasn't able to find any information regarding why Corrin was added in. But if I had to speculate, it would be because of marketing.
Absolutely.
and of course they're also banking on how popular Fire Emblem is right now, and getting more Smash fans in, which is kind of weird because I'm pretty sure everyone in the world is playing Smash Brothers already.
Yeah.
But the funny part is that Korn is, for Fire Emblem characters, is incredibly unique. Like,
she is.
She's pretty much like the most unique character out of all of them, even more than Robin. And I'm not sure what the big deal is, but as far as like saying like, oh, these characters are all clones of Marth, and it's like, no,
Yeah, no. But yeah, that was the situation with Corrin, and it I think in a way that carries over into Byleth being revealed as well, because it's just, to a lot of people, it's just another Fire Emblem character. So no matter how unique she is, it's another Fire Emblem character. And
yeah, because like was said before, each character is its own representation of their specific game, which is why Nintendo is pushing for so many of these characters to be added in.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the rumors and hype of these DLC characters did not help this situation at all.
Yeah, like the whole thing about Dante being in, like, I don't know who started that rumor, but it circulated like fire, because even YouTubers like Maximilian, that's basically that fighting game god.
Yeah.
That has like millions and millions of subscribers.
Basically the face of the...
the face of the fighting game community. More or less. He was really, really hyped about seeing Dante. Like, he was so sure that Dante was going to be in. And that spread like wildfire. And I don't know who started it. I think it was like one of those leaks, fake leaks, that just pushed people to hold on to some of these rumors. But I think besides Dante, it was also Sora. Like, people,
yeah,
I don't think there was like a basis on Sora, but like people were just really, really hoping for Sora.
Meaning out of the way, like people like Goku and all that. Sora and Dante were the major ones.
Yeah.
And the thing is that with Dante, you could see it happening because they already have Bayonetta in there, who is similar to Dante.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they got their hype dashed away in like the worst way possible, which is introducing another Fire Emblem character. This was not even third party,
right? So needless to say, that on top of the fact that Sakurai had said in the past that there would be only non-represented series in the DLC Fighter Pass, it just destroyed people, and it really caused a backlash that was out of proportion.
Yeah. So there's this whole thing that's going on right now. It's like, oh, Nintendo lied to us. Yes and no. They said, well, I say Reggie said, back when he was still selling Nintendo, that you will see characters that have never been represented before in the DLC Fighter Pass, which is true. Like, all that's true, because remember, Byleth is not just part of Fire Emblem; she's also representing her own game. So that is still true, but the impression that people thought was that, like, oh, it's going to be from completely different games, like Persona different. Like, oh, we got Joker, who's from Persona, never represented even the slightest in Smash, and we have Banjo, never represented in the slightest in Smash. Then you have Hero, then you have Terry, so on and so forth. And you just have Byleth, who is part of a franchise, but it's not part of the same game. But for the majority of people that doesn't even play a Fire Emblem, it's going to look like that. Oh, they just tacked on a character from the same series.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, generally, what I wanted to say with this video is that it's not as bad as people think it is. It really, really isn't. We have even if we do say Byleth is just another Fire Emblem character representing a franchise that's oversaturated in Smash. Even if we do say that, which I'm not, but even if we do say that, we still have 6 other fighters coming out later on, and she's only one of 10. One of 11 so far.
Yeah. I'm gonna find it pretty funny if they just started adding on like a bunch of first-party characters, and Byleth was just like the first one. Like, oh, we have Waluigi now. I
would not be surprised if they actually do put Waluigi in there and take away his assist trophy.
Yeah, and everyone's gonna be like, yeah, we got Waluigi. And it's like, ha, you hypocrites.
Exactly.
But let's just get on to like our personal takes officially on this whole debacle. I think we went on. We got everyone up to speed.
Yeah, absolutely.
On what's actually going on and how and why things happened. But since you are already going on with your personal take, do you want to finish up?
Yeah. So it's really not as bad as people think. Just to refresh what I was saying, she is one of 11 fighters that are coming out, and yeah, maybe I don't know. We'll see Hilda tomorrow. I don't know, but the point is that the overreaction is extremely exactly that. It is an extreme overreaction to a buildup of smaller actions that just combined together in one when Byleth was announced, and it's not bad, guys. It's really not bad. You guys need to calm down a bit.
I'm telling people to calm down on the internet.
I know, right? But beyond the seething hate for Byleth, she is just like Corrin in a way that she is unique. She isn't just a sword user, for one. She uses an axe, a lance, and a bow. And there's just so much about her that is shown through this that I don't think it's a bad situation at all. She's a great character. Disappointing because it wasn't something interesting, but not bad. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay. So I'm going to speak as two things separately. One, as a pretty huge Fire Emblem fan, and second, being a general competitive Smash player. So, as a Fire Emblem fan, I am pretty glad that Byleth is in. If only because she'll be another character for the Fire Emblem franchise. That's different. Because the main thing that I disliked about Chrom is that he was an echo of Roy, which made 100% no sense. And it came off as really, really lazy. So I'm really glad that Byleth has such a different take on the Fire Emblem franchise, using different weapons and bringing something different to the table and doesn't have a counter. And to go on as a competitive Smash player, I am pretty disappointed that we got Byleth over any other character, and even Dante, which I'm not even hyped for at all, because we have Bayonetta. I think she fits that play style of what Dante would bring almost to a T. Personally, I don't have any real wants for any third-party DLC, except like Travis Touchdown, who's not even third-party, to be honest. Well, kind of is third-party, but he only been on Nintendo consoles, so hit or miss there. But I don't really expect Travis Touchdown to be in the Smash DLC roster. So at this point, it's more of like whatever's there, I'll be happy about. Byleth is more of a miss in this case because we already have Fire Emblem characters, and I feel like we have enough. But her moveset, for me anyways, offsets the fact that another Fire Emblem character is in. And I'm pretty happy with her inclusion. And to be honest, I'm going to say, and like, as soon as she comes out and then people play her, they're gonna stop being mad.
I guarantee you that'll be the case.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same way with Corrin as well. When she came out, basically once people started playing her, all the hate and stuff just pretty much washed away. And it's gonna be the same thing here. The only reason why this is getting so much attention now, compared to earlier, is because the reaction is so much bigger than what it was for Corrin. Like it's massive. It's way bigger, and the negativity is getting really intense.
It's the spirit ball of negativity, or spirit bomb of negativity.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. And I think everyone just needs to take a moment to just reflect on what's actually going on, and how they're responding to it. Because as Xritsken said earlier, there are 6 more fighters coming out, and I think this is one big thing to keep in mind. More than likely, you're going to find like one character in the DLC roster that you're not going to like.
Absolutely.
And that's okay, because you'll have 10 others that you will like. So just because you don't like this fighter coming out, it doesn't mean that you need to just shit on it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when there are people who are happy with the announcement
and genuinely excited.
Yeah, and genuinely excited. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
All right, so you want to say any final statements just to wrap it up, or is our personal enough for that?
Yeah, I think I said what needs to be said.
Yeah, all right. I'll just add my one last sentence here. Even if you don't like any of the DLC characters, you can always play other characters. There are 70 plus characters in this game.
That is true. Soon to be over 80.
Yeah, soon to be over 80. So
I think that's more characters than any fighting game ever.
I think the only one that compares is Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we've been rambling on quite enough, so we're going to end it here. And I hope we at least change some minds about this situation. Or if we didn't, at least you're now informed.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Peace.
壊したい大事そう